The commission, let me welcome everyone who has joined us either live in the board and commission room in City Hall or online. We're very pleased that you have chosen to spend your time with us and hopefully sharing your thoughts about the redistricting of Seattle's council districts. Let me start by acknowledging that we are located on the ancestral lands of the Coast Salish peoples, specifically the Duwamish, Suquamish, Stillaguamish, and Muckleshoot tribes, people who are still here, part of our community, and continue to honor their heritage. With that, Elsa, do we have minutes to approve?
No, for this meeting. We're going to save them for the next meeting, so we have time.
Very good. The agenda is very simple. Our purpose tonight is to listen to the public and their thoughts on the draft map that the commission has adopted as a draft. So is there any discussion about the agenda? And if not, is there a motion to approve it?
So moved.
It's moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We also normally give an opportunity for commissioners to acknowledge that they've received public comments and have had a chance to review those that have been submitted in writing, and also to disclose any contacts they may have had that might pose at least the appearance of a conflict of interest. So I'm going to ask commissioners, have you had a chance to review the public comments?
Yes.
I'll just note that I still don't have access to SharePoint, but I've been reviewing the comments that are available on the website.
Great, thank you.
And I would just add that the SharePoint, it looks like on my end anyway, the dates were flipped around somehow.
Oh, really?
And so I figured it out, but I just looked at the web form and that made more sense.
Thank you for doing that, Commissioner Shaw. I thought I was doing something terribly wrong. So.
The one file that is the public comment divided by district, I couldn't open, but I could open the general Excel file of public comment.
Yeah, it was the same for me, but
okay.
Open the other one.
And are there any contacts that the commissioners wish to disclose? Very good. Well, the purpose of tonight's forum is, I think, very clear. That is to hear from the public about the draft map that the commission adopted in early August. The purpose of the new map is to ensure that we have one person, one vote. That is, that the 7 districts are roughly equal in population. In fact, within 1% between the highest and lowest populated district. We're going to have one additional public forum that is scheduled for October 8th. And that one will be on a weekend, so that we will have given an evening opportunity, a weekend opportunity, and a daytime opportunity, so that folks can work within their schedule. With that, we're going to move to the forum. Oh, I have one additional item that I wanted to highlight for commissioners. We meet on Tuesday in our regular meeting, and public comment, of course, is provided an opportunity there. I have asked staff to put on the agenda a discussion of a new chair. We have rotated the chairmanship, I think, fairly successfully, but we are beginning to get short on time. And so in order for Commissioner Malaba to have an adequate time to be able to lead us, I'm going to suggest on Tuesday that we elect her as the next chair, and she would assume that position at the conclusion of the meeting. She would be chairing our third public forum, as well as our regular meetings from here on out until the end of the process. So heads up, I hope that you will agree that that's a fair and reasonable way to proceed. I hope that Commissioner Malaba thinks that that's a fair and reasonable way to proceed as well. To folks who have signed up, and we have a significant number of folks who have signed up, we're going to call you first. Our experience has been that a number of folks sign up and aren't here, so I will call a couple of names, and that way you can be prepared if the person in front of you is not present or not asking for acknowledgement, we'll move to you. That should help us make sure that we're able to hear from everybody. Following the folks who have signed up in advance, we will then go to folks in the audience, either live or online, who wish to address the commission. You've got 3 minutes. We ask you to be respectful of that. There'll be a timer, so that will help us keep to that. But that's a way for us to allow everyone an opportunity to speak. Now, if you put that up, I don't have the names in front of me to be able to call folks out.
I'll paste it in the chat if that's okay.
Yeah, that would be fine. Thank you.
We can start with the first 3.
Well, yes, if I had them in front of me also, I would do exactly that. The first 3 speakers are Paul Catanese, Janet Smith, and Detra Segar. Paul Catanese. Paul Catanese.
It's not there.
Okay. Our second speaker is Janet Smith, to be followed by Detra Segar and Janice Travern. Janet Smith. Janet Smith. Janet Smith. All right, we will move to our third speaker, who is Detra Segar, who I do see is online, to be followed by Janice Travern and Ann Goss.
Good evening. My name is Detra Seeker. I'm with the East Lake Community Council, and we presented at the meeting a couple of weeks back, and our position is the same. We submitted a plan that kept East Lake in one district, the district it's currently in, District 4, because we feel that we are a rather small district and we've grown in population, but the continuity of our lakefront and our businesses would be served best if we are kept together as a community, as we have been for many years. So we're asking you please to consider the proposal that we made, the map that we drew, and keep East Lake in District 4 and keep it as a whole rather than dividing it between several districts and horizontally at Lynn Street.
Thank you, Ms. Segar. Next speaker is Janice Travern, to be followed by Ann Goss and Joanna Cullen.
So
Janice, oh yeah,
I'm
welcome.
here. Thank
Welcome.
you. So I'm getting an echo. Can you tell me how to do away with that?
We don't hear that echo. I don't know.
Okay, well, so if I sound a little bit funny, I feel sorry for the transcriber. I'm Janice Travern. I live in, So I live in Magnolia, And I have two questions and a couple of comments. My general question is that I'm going to, I'm asked a lot from people, what happens next? You're hearing a lot of comments, and we want to know what happens. Is the commission going to take them in, our comments into account, and what is the process for that? So that's a general question. It would be helpful, I think, at the beginning for you to address this. My other question is the definition of districts being contiguous. According to the draft map where I live, which would be in the new District 6, I have to leave District 6 to go into District 7 to get back to District 6. I leave Magnolia to go over the Ballard Bridge. I can't do that except on foot. And that's one of the many reasons why I'm wondering whether the draft map meets the rules. So once again, we invite you to come and visit us. We'll give you a tour. We'll show you what we're talking about. So my comments are this. I've read through all of the comments that have been posted so far. I've attended the meetings, and what I keep hearing is, comments I keep hearing are that we want Magnolia and we want Queen Anne to be together in a district. The international, Chinatown International District wants to be together with Yesler Terrace, and that Eastlake wants to be in one district, preferably in District 4. I encourage you to look again at Commissioner Nichols' map, because his map does all of those things. I think that there are tweaks that could be made to accommodate other issues that have come up. But those are the resounding issues that have been brought up at all of these meetings. And I really encourage you to take a second look at Commissioner Nichols' map, and let's get through this process. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Traver. Ann Gose, to be followed by Joanna Cullen and Gail Shinazaki. Ann? Go ahead and unmute. There you go.
Yes,
Welcome.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Ann Gose, testified before, and I'm going to follow up on something Janice brought up in her comments just before me. If there's anything that we're hearing from Magnolia residents is the real concern about the fact that 15th Avenue West from Smith Cove to the Ballard Bridge is going to be in District 7, but most of the residents and many of the businesses are going to be in District 6. And I know that you guys all know, you live in Seattle, just how much development is going on along 15th Avenue West in Inner Bay. And certainly the plans that the Port of Seattle has both in Smith Cove at Pier 91, as well as all of the growth that's going to be happening in Fisherman's Terminal with the new Marine Innovation Center and some other things. Then you add that there's the Armory that is in Inner Bay that's now owned by the state, and that's going to be redeveloped. Plus you have Sound Transit that is likely to have the Ballard Inner Bay station there. Bottom line is Magnolia, as you know, only has 3 entrances. It has Magnolia Bridge, it has Emerson Street Bridge, it has the Davis Street Bridge. All of those are accessed off of 15th Avenue West. And all of those are directly connected in the Inner Bay area, mostly adjacent to all of the growth that is planned, both by the City of Seattle, the Port of Seattle, and the state of Washington. Now, most of those plans are somewhat integrated because that is the Ballard Inner Bay Manufacturing and Industrial Center. That's also going under a SEPA analysis for new growth. All of that is going to impact traffic and access to those 5 lanes, and that's all Magnolia has, is 5 lanes to get in and out. We strongly believe that the residents who depend upon those 3 bridges in 15th Avenue West should have a voice within the same district as 15th Avenue West and all of that development. So again, what we'd like to see is all of Magnolia, particularly 15th Avenue West, be connected in one district so we have a voice in all of these important growth transportation issues. And we, back to what Janice says, we think that's within redistricting. We're a community of interest, and that's showing a caring about contiguous line making. So thank you so much again for all your work.
Thank you, Ann. Next is Joanna Cullen, to be followed by Gail Shinazaki and Ron Davis. Joanna, welcome.
Hi. Well, I don't have something really prepared, but I'll say that I am sympathetic to Eastlake being in District 4 because I can see how their transportation is more connected to the University District in Wallingford. I would be very appalled to see the District 4 go south of the Ship Canal or District 3 to go into the downtown retail core, in that the retail core is not related to the central district in culturally or anything. So I still appreciate the work that you've done to not go south of the Ship Canal with District 4, but I am sympathetic to Eastlake being with District 4. And I'm just trying to listen to what people are saying. And I might actually work on some maps again, just out of interest to see how this can be maybe done a little bit better. So thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. Gail Shinazaki, to be followed by Ron Davis and Harold Hilseth. Gail, are you with us? Gail Shinazaki. Okay. Ron Davis. Ron, are you with us? Yes, good.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, can.
Great, thank you. I have testified before, but I am here today to address an issue that arose last time about a possible lawsuit over Magnolia. While I assume that the commission knows that such a claim is baseless theater, we do have an ugly history in Seattle of wealthy communities threatening lawsuits to hijack the political process, so I would like to get that baselessness on the record. I am an honors graduate of Harvard Law School, where I earned a legal doctorate in 2012. I won awards there for being the top student in 4 courses. While I don't practice law in the state of Washington, I did a statutory interpretation, and this is an easy case. Article 4, Section 2, Subdivision D, Subsection 3, it's quite a mouthful, of the city charter is quite clear on the matter. It includes 2 hard rules and 1 soft rule. The hard rules are indicated by what I'll call the lonely shalls. In these rules, the word shall is not qualified by any other language. It stands alone. The 2 rules with lonely shalls limit the shapes of the districts and their population variance. You've done a banger of a job on both. I will add to the question earlier about contiguousness, which is in one of those rules. That requires something like avoiding a district having separated islands, like Kaliningrad is to Russia, and you've met that requirement in spades. In the soft rule relevant to this discussion about what came up last time about a lawsuit, shall has its hard edge shaved off with the qualifier to the extent practical. Anyone who reads statutes for a living will see that the drafters differentiated this rule as a softer requirement in 3 ways: by including the qualifier, by putting it at the beginning of the sentence to draw attention to it, and by using a word like practical that implies a judgment call. Since subsection 4 vests power in this commission to draw a map, it's quite clear that you have significant discretion to make trade-offs and determine what is practical. Given also the publicly documented work you've done to maximize compliance with this rule, and the fact that your map divides fewer communities and crosses fewer waterways than Seattle's current map, there is really no way a court would take that claim against this map as anything but frivolous. Now, this doesn't mean you can't do better or that I don't think you can do better. In fact, I think Redistricting Justice Coalition's map is a great indicator of the changes I think you should make in Magnolia and in the northern areas of the city as well. I've mentioned in the past, in my own community shared walk sheds involving Green Lake and Roosevelt, Tangletown and Wallingford. We share neighborhood schools as well. You know, Roosevelt kids go to Green Lake Elementary and U District, and Green Lake kids go to school in Tangletown and McDonald, as do some of the schools with larger footprints also across these boundaries. We're a shared community and think you should reunite us as voters too. But be that as it may, you can do better is no grounds for a legal case here. No court would entertain a challenge to this map on the grounds of the soft rule. So if anyone does say to you, you'll hear from my lawyer about this matter, please don't lose a wink of sleep, because that lawyer will get an earful from the judge and the matter will be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Harold Hilseth, to be followed by Amy Plattberg and Crystal Horan. Harold Hilseth. Harold Hilseth. Amy Plattberg. Amy Plattberg. Amy Plattberg. Crystal Horan. Crystal Horan. Crystal Horan. Claudia Hayden, to be followed by Julia Buck and Miriam Bayo. Claudia Hayden. Claudia Hayden. Claudia Hayden. All right, then Julia Buck. Julia Buck. Julia Buck. Miriam Bayo, to be followed by Nirey Petty and Jude Ahmed. Julia Buck. Julia Buck. Not seeing her. We go to Miriam Bayo. Miriam, are you with us? Miriam Bayo. We'll move ahead to Nirey Petty, to be followed by Jude Ahmed and Olivia Crawford.
Hello, commissioners. My name is Nirey Petty, and I'm a Seattle resident in the 2nd City Council District.
Welcome.
Today, I'm testifying from the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle. I'm a member of the RJS Coalition, Redistricting Justice for Seattle. We're requesting that the commission prioritizes increasing equitable representation for BIPOC in low-income neighborhoods in Seattle by keeping them together. Historical BIPOC neighborhoods such as the CD, Yesler Terrace, Rainier Beach, Beacon Hill, the CID, and Districts 2 and 3 have and still do face pressures of the economic, environmental, and education disparities in the city. These neighborhoods deserve better and equitable representation for a better chance of electing someone that understands these issues firsthand. Seattle has made a commitment to eliminate racial disparities and achieve racial equity in the city. Fighting for representation and acknowledgement has been the burden of communities of color that wealthier and politically enfranchised areas of the city cannot fathom. Therefore, we ask that the commission goes forward with the current draft map proposal with minor changes that prioritize the values I've just mentioned to fulfill Seattle's commitment to equity, diversity, and inclusion. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Nirey. Jude Ahmed, to be followed by Olivia Crawford and Zion Thomas. Jude Ahmed.
Hi, my name is Jude Ahmed. I have testified before. I'm a resident of District 3, also an employee of the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle and a member of the Redistricting Justice for Washington Committee.
Jude, welcome. Can you get a little closer to your microphone? It's a little.
Oh, sure thing. Thank you for letting me know about the sound. Hopefully this is better.
Thank you.
Fabulous. So I am just once again on another public forum, wanting to thank the commissioners for really taking in the feedback that Redistricting Justice for Seattle Coalition has developed We have worked very hard to do coalition building amongst our communities in order to maintain our communities of color in District 2 and District 3 together. A big piece of that has been ensuring that District 2 remains majority BIPOC and eligible voting population. As you continue to tweak and adjust the maps, I hope that we can receive some further updates on what the commissioners are thinking towards some of the issues that have been brought up regarding prioritizing communities of color in this process. Overall, though, I do just again want to highlight that the Redistricting Justice for Seattle map proposal was the one that split the least number of residents from their neighborhood's primary district compared to all of the maps released by the commission. Since the commission is aiming to split the least communities if possible, we just really want to highlight that the RJS map is doing this best, and we hope that any feedback that is incorporated from community members outside of the coalition are able to be incorporated while maintaining our priorities. So these are to keep the historically redlined communities in Yesler Terrace, Beacon Hill, and the Chinatown International District together, as well as keep those young, diversifying, and renter communities in District 7 and South Lake Union as well. We do still want to see more feedback from the community to ensure that our gains aren't undone from the pressure of wealthier or politically influential areas of Seattle. And we continue to work to bring those voices to the commission. And hopefully we'll be bringing some folks in person at the next public forum from District 2 to speak on their experiences and expectations for the redistricting process. Thank you for the good work. And I appreciate this time to speak today.
Thank you, Jude. Olivia Crawford, to be followed by Zion Thomas and Jonathan Behrens. Olivia Crawford, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Welcome.
Yeah, Olivia Crawford. I went to Seattle University, graduated in 2020, a current resident in Seattle. And I just really want to harp on the fact that communities that have historically been silenced should definitely be thought about in the redistricting process. There's a final draft that has already been looked at, I guess you could say. And I just really hope that we continue with that draft that many people worked on. And we just, as Seattle is it claims to be a very progressive city. And I just hope that the progression is included with the people who've lived here for years and have historically been silenced. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Zion Thomas, to be followed by Jonathan Behrens and Robin Grad. Zion Thomas. Zion, are you with us? All right, then Jonathan Behrens, to be followed by Robin Grad and Leica Smith. Jonathan Behrens. Jonathan Behrens. Not seeing him. We move to Robin Grad, to be followed by Leica Smith and Lorna Murray. Robin Grad. Robin, are you with us? Robin Grad. Not seeing Robin. Leica Smith, to be followed by Lorna Murray and Catherine Stoltz. Leica Smith. Leica, are you with us? Not seeing Leica. Lorna Murray, to be followed by Catherine Stoltz and Joseph Lackman. Lorna Murray. Lorna Murray. Okay, we'll move on to Catherine Stoltz, to be followed by Joseph Lackman and Andrew Hong. Catherine Stoltz, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Ah, there you are. Welcome.
Great.
Yes, can hear you.
Thanks, Chair Nichols. Hello, my name is Katie Stoltz. I use she, her pronouns. It's great to see all of you commissioners again and for the public comment. It's just great to see everybody here at the end of this marathon process with one more public hearing to go. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of you and the staff for your commitment to public engagement throughout this process. And really excited to just hear the continued comments for the next 2 public hearings. I wanted to take a moment to also introduce myself a bit more and what brings me to this process. My name is Katie Stoltz. I'm joining today with the Redistricting Justice for Seattle Coalition. I'm also joining today as a Seattle resident. I live in the Green Lake neighborhood, but I previously lived in Lake City and the U District for the past 15 years, and I grew up in South King County. I also grew up connected to my home faith community, downtown Seattle at Plymouth Congregational Church. So most of my closest community is scattered across almost every district in Seattle. So I have definitely grown up in homes and districts and in neighborhoods and traveling between those districts, and really an understanding of just the fact that while we are a very large and diverse city, our neighborhoods differ really by geography and by many other things. I've also worked and organized in the city of Seattle since I was about 18 as a student at the University of Washington. So most of my life has been spent working to expand representation in our democracy through my volunteer and professional work, and this process is no different from that. The process to move Seattle to districted-based election system from the very beginning came from understanding that the city of Seattle would have a more representative government if we moved from at-large council to a districted council, as many of the previous councils included council members from the same neighborhoods. This process must keep that value of representation at its core across the whole city. And we really, I want to say we saw that commitment from this commission in the draft map of not splitting historical BIPOC communities and neighborhoods. And so we urge you to pass the draft map with little changes, if at all possible, and specifically to keep your commitment to keeping Yesler Terrace, Beacon Hill, and the Chinatown International District together in District 2, keeping District 4 north of the Montlake Cut, and keeping downtown and South Lake Union renter communities together in District 7. We do lift up that redistricting is a challenging process, but we know based off the analysis that the map is going to have to jump the water in the northern area. And so it is a matter of really just figuring out where. And so I'm grateful to this commission for opening this process, to hearing from the public, and thank you for your time tonight. Take care.
Thank you. Joseph Lackman, to be followed by Andrew Hong and Cindy Black. Joseph, are you with us? Joseph Lackman. I don't see Joseph. Andrew Hong, are you with us, Andrew?
Yeah, hi, can you all hear me?
Welcome.
Awesome. Hi, my name is Andrew Hong. I am the statewide coordinator of the Redistricting Justice for Washington Coalition, also a lifelong resident and public school grad in District 2. Redistricting Justice for Seattle is our Seattle City Coalition that formed to ensure that underrepresented voices and communities are heard in this process throughout the whole city. Again, we support the Commission's draft final map proposal, and we urge the Commission to pass it with small minor edits in several places that we pointed out in a submitted memo that we sent in about a month ago. Also, I want to highlight again that by a data analysis from Scott Shawcroft that's linked in that memo, the RJS map, which we asked the Commission to reference in making any final adjustments to the draft map, does the best job numerically at keeping as many people in the same district as their neighborhood is primarily in. And the RGS map, we do this through a bunch of community input that we've gathered for months, and especially highlighting community input we received from, historically underrepresented communities in the city, especially in the South and in the Central District. This redistricting process and this map should not just be about one neighborhood or a couple neighborhoods, but it needs to really represent and work for the whole city. And so we urge this commission to look at public comments, not just in the last couple of weeks, but throughout the whole process, and including reviewing public comments from the first 7 forums to ensure that all voices in all neighborhoods are centered in this process, not just a few wealthy white voices. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Cindy Black, to be followed by Philip Frick and Nicholas Hunter. Cindy Black, are you with us, Cindy?
Yes.
Good, welcome.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. My name's Cindy Black. I'm the executive director of Fix Democracy First, a pro-democracy organization that works on ensuring fair representation across Washington, including the city of Seattle. We are also an active member of Redistricting Justice for Seattle Coalition, as you know, who focuses on centering people of color and renter communities in the Seattle redistricting process. As mentioned earlier by both Jude and Andrew, the Redistricting Justice for Seattle's map does a really good job of splitting the least number of residents from their neighborhood's primary district compared to some of the draft maps released by the commission. We recommend the commission examine our map to help minimize the splitting of communities. I also want to mention that the Redistricting Justice for Seattle's map also works better to accommodate Magnolia's business district, which might be a possible solution to some of the feedback that you've been getting from Magnolia residents in the business community there. Though ultimately, we really do support the commissioner's August 2nd map draft, as it does align with our values. As people have mentioned, there could be some minor tweaks and changes, as previously mentioned, that could help strengthen the commission's map. But overall, we do support that and hope that you will continue to center those communities of interest we've been highlighting. Thank you for allowing me to speak today and for all your efforts on the redistricting process in Seattle. We know it's not easy. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Philip Frick, to be followed by Nicholas Hunter and Julia, and B-U-I-S, Buse. I apologize for the pronunciation there. Philip Frick. Phil, are you here? Mr. Frick, are you with us? Nicholas Hunter, to be followed by Julia, and then Camille Baldwin Bonnie. Nicholas Hunter, are you with us? Nicholas Hunter. Julia Buse. Again, apologizing for the pronunciation of your last name. Julia, are you with us? Julia. Camille Baldwin Bonnie. Camille, are you with us? Welcome.
Thank you.
You're not, you need to either speak more clearly into the microphone or turn the volume up, please.
Is that better?
That's a bit better, yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for hearing my testimony. I'll be brief, but I just wanted to call in support of the redistricting map by the RJS coalition. As other speakers have said, it might need some minor tweaks and changes, but I think it is really the best map. There's been an analysis that showed it has the least amount of separation of peoples from their communities, and it centers the voices of BIPOC communities, which is an important thing that should be centered in top priority in any redistricting. So, thank you. Thank you,
Camille. Teresa Huey is the last name on our pre-sign up. Teresa, if you could make yourself known, let me just say a word. If you wish to speak and we're not on that list, please use the raise hand function and we'll acknowledge you. And if you're in the board and commission room, please make yourself known to staff, and I will try and alternate so that we treat folks both in person and online fairly, or as close as we can. All right, Teresa, thank you.
Good evening, commissioners. My name is Teresa Huey. I am joining again this evening as a current resident living in District 2, who's grown up in the CD and South End most of my life, although I have lived for a short time by Northgate and Wedgewood. I'm in the Hillman neighborhood, and I'm here to reinforce previous testimonies. I'm also participating as a member of the Redistricting Justice for Seattle Coalition, a coalition of organizations working to call for an open, transparent, and community-engaged redistricting process, statewide and locally. Our coalition has been together for over the past 6 months to lift up the voices of people of color, working class people, renters, and other marginalized populations in the redistricting process. Our coalition applauds the commission for the draft maps and for continuing to listen to the voices of historically divided communities in Seattle. I believe the commission should approve the 8-2 commission draft map, the final draft map with very little changes. The commission should make changes for their draft map so it aligns with the Redistricting Justice for Seattle RJS map proposal. A data analysis by Scott Shawcraft shows that the RJS map proposal splits the least number of residents in their neighborhood's primary district compared to all maps released by the commission. And the commission should aim to split the least communities as possible. And the RJS map does this the best, I feel. The RJS coalition map centers BIOP and renter communities in Seattle redistricting process. We do this by keeping historically redlined communities in Yesler Terrace, Beacon Hill, and the Chinatown International District together in District 2, keeping downtown and South Lake Union, young, diversifying renter communities together in District 7. Sorry about that. The RJS Coalition would also like to see the following in the final map: keep the central area together in District 3 by keeping District 4 north of the Montlake Cut, keep Green Lake and Meridian in District 4, keep all of Inner Bay as possible in District 7, and set the District 6 to 7 boundary on 28th Avenue West to keep Magnolia Village together. I appreciate another opportunity to share my view, and we look forward to continued engagement throughout the process. Thank you, and have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you, Teresa. I see Paula Mueller has raised her hand. Welcome, Paula. If you would unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman Nichols and commissioners as well. I'm Paula Mueller from the Queen Anne community. I represent the Queen Anne Community Council, and we would like to ask that the commission reconsider the proposed division of Magnolia community and to keep Magnolia and Queen Anne, which surprisingly to some is actually a community primarily of renters, in the same district. The Magnolia and Queen Anne communities have important shared asset interests and issues and developments in the Interbay neighborhood that joins us and that significantly impacts both our communities. We believe that an option that meets this goal and that provides better cohesive representation for our BIPOC communities are both achievable. We must then hold our elected representatives responsible for effectively representing all communities within their respective geographic districts. Thanks for all of your hard work, and thanks for taking my comments.
Thank you, Paula. Paula's hand was the only one I saw raised with people online. Elsa, anyone in the room physically who have asked to speak? No, I think you're shaking your head.
Say no, yes, no.
Okay, so let me call one more time if anyone in the room wishes to speak or anyone online. I see Jennifer Nagel has stepped to the plate. Jennifer,
can you hear me?
Welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to say many have said this better, and I just want to give credit to Janice and Anne for what they said, because it was so well spoken. I want to thank you all for all your hard work. I've lived in the Magnolia community since 1984 and have been involved with many of the groups here. And Magnolia is very much one community. And I really feel strongly that we need to remain together. We all utilize the 3 accesses to the community as well as the businesses here. And we all need to have input into what happens in our neighborhood. Many have referred to us as a privileged community, but there are many people of medium and low incomes here and many renters as well. And we all need to have a voice in our community. So I would please ask the commission to please keep us together in one district. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jennifer. Again, if there's anyone in the room who wishes to address the commission, or anyone else who's joined us online who wish to address the commission. Going once, going twice, last call. I see no one else who is asking to be acknowledged. So I would ask if there are any commissioners who have any comments for the good of the, oh, yeah, okay. So Commissioner O'Sullivan, yes, welcome.
Thank you, Chair Nichols. I just wanted to respond somewhat to some of the comments, and so one of the questions was, where do we go from here, given the comments that have come in, and I think there was another commenter who wanted to get an idea of what the commissioners were thinking. So I wanted to just take a minute or two to let the commission know what I'm thinking and ideas about how to move forward. I worked with Mary to come up with a map that changes only the borders of District 6 and District 7. So in the map that I will be presenting at our meeting on Tuesday, I've put Magnolia as a whole, so everything west of 15th Avenue West into District 6, and put Fremont into District 7. And it keeps Fremont relatively whole, and keeps Magnolia wholly together. So I'm going to be presenting that at our next meeting on Tuesday. I also, I had a look at, I believe Commissioner Shaw made a suggestion about how to keep East Lake whole, swapping, and that was changes between District 3 and District 7, and that would put East Lake wholly into District 3, and I believe move some of First Hill into District 7, and I definitely agree with those changes in order to ensure that East Lake remains fully within one district. So based on the comments that I've heard, those are my thoughts for ways in which we can move forward. And just, I think, as a general statement, we do have an opportunity to make changes to the maps. The August 2nd map was a draft map. The purpose of that map was to solicit input. We have certainly received input since then and are going to be taking that input to heart in any changes we make between now and a final map come the end of October, beginning of November. So thank you, everybody who's taken the time and energy to give your input and spend your evening with us. And I want to let everyone know that we are taking your input seriously.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners have words for the good of the order? Okay.
I'll just sort of ditto Commissioner O'Sullivan. Thanks everybody for taking the time, and I really look forward to seeing that map, Commissioner O'Sullivan, and appreciate you taking the time to work with Mary and combining what we've all been working on. So I look forward to seeing that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Our next meeting is at noon on Tuesday, which is the 20th. As I mentioned earlier, I will be suggesting that we vote in Commissioner Malaba as our next chair. And we will certainly have a good discussion, I think, about the draft map and the public comment that we have heard to date. So thank you all for your time and energy and good listening skills. And I would ask if there is a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? We are adjourned with our thanks for all of the public who have taken their time to join with us tonight. Good night.
Thank you.
Aye.